Hey there, folks! Welcome back to another wild ride through the streets of Los Santos. It's your main man, Conan, ready to spin a yarn about the one and only Michael DeSanta. You know, the guy who's seen it all, done it all, and lived to tell the tale? Yeah, that Michael, the retired bank robber trying to live the good life in sunny Los Santos. He's got the mansion, the cars, the family, but something's missing. Problem is, boredom's a beast, and Michael's itching for action. Retirement isn't all it's cracked up to be when you've lived a life on the edge. Picture this. Michael's lounging by his pool, scrolling through the news on his iFruit phone. The sun's shining, the water's perfect, but he's restless. Headlines scream about skyrocketing gas prices, interest rates going haywire, and half of Los Santos hightailing it out of town. The city's in chaos and it's all over the news. Now Michael's used to a life of crime, but even he's taken aback. He's seen some crazy stuff, but this is on another level. This is nuts, even for a city notorious for its chaos. Los Santos is a powder keg and it looks like it's about to blow. He throws on some clothes, grabs his keys, and decides to see this madness for himself. He can't just sit by and watch. He's got to be in the thick of it. Little does he know he's in for one heck of a ride. The city's a mess, and Michael's about to dive headfirst into the chaos. Buckle up, folks, because this is going to be one wild adventure. As he drives through the chaotic streets, he sees people fighting over gas, traffic jams that stretch for miles, and a city on the brink of madness. It's like nothing he's ever seen before. He stops at a gas station, hoping to get a closer look. People are yelling, cars are honking, and it's pure pandemonium. Michael can't help but feel a thrill. This is the kind of action he's been missing. He talks to a few people, trying to get a sense of what's going on. Everyone's got a different story, but one thing's clear. Los Santos is in trouble, and it's going to take more than a retired bank robber to fix it. Determined to get to the bottom of this, Michael heads towards the city center. He's got a feeling that this is just the beginning, and he's ready for whatever comes next. As he arrives at the city center, the chaos is even worse. Buildings are on fire, people are rioting, and it's clear that Los Santos is in for a rough ride. But Michael, he's ready to dive in and take on whatever comes his way. This is the kind of chaos he thrives on, and he's not about to back down. Stay tuned, folks, because Michael DeSanta is back in action, and Los Santos will never be the same. So Los Santos is in a tizzy. Gas prices are higher than Trevor after a 3-day bender, and interest rates are shooting up faster than rockets at a spaceport. People are freaking out, selling their mansions, ditching their sports cars, and fleeing the city in droves. Michael, being the ever-observant guy he is, finds himself at a swanky conference downtown. Bigwigs in fancy suits are discussing the economy, using more jargon than a teenager playing a video game. Michael rolls his eyes. These guys wouldn't know a real problem if it hit them with a stolen JB-8. Cruising around town, Michael can't help but notice the difference. Traffic's a breeze, parking's a cinch, and there's barely a soul in sight. It's like everyone decided to take a simultaneous vacation. A very, very long vacation. He passes by his old stomping grounds, the bank he once relieved of a few $1,000,000, and it's deserted. Even the criminals have seemingly vanished into thin air. Michael's starting to feel like the last man in Los Santos. Well, almost. Deciding he needs a change of scenery, Michael spots a mostly empty train platform. The hustle and bustle of the city have been getting to him lately, and he feels the need to escape, even if just for a little while. The platform is quiet, almost serene, a stark contrast to the chaos of Los Santos. Why not, he thinks to himself, hopping aboard the next train out of the city. The train looks inviting, a promise of adventure and the unknown. Michael feels a rush of excitement as he steps onto the train, leaving behind the familiar streets of Los Santos. He figures a little train ride might clear his head. As the train starts moving, he gazes out the window, watching the cityscape blur into the countryside. The rhythmic clatter of the train wheels is almost hypnotic, and Michael finds himself lost in thought, contemplating his life and the choices he's made. Boy, is he in for a surprise? Just as he's starting to relax, he notices something odd about his fellow passengers. It turns out this isn't your average commuter train. The atmosphere inside the train is electric, filled with an eclectic mix of characters that seem straight out of a circus. It's packed with all sorts of eccentric characters, people you'd never expect to see on a regular train ride. Clowns juggling Molotovs, don't ask, their faces painted with exaggerated expressions, adding to the surreal atmosphere. Mimes trapped in invisible boxes performing their silent acts with an intensity that makes Michael question his reality, and a guy who swears he's a time traveler from 2077. This man, dressed in futuristic attire, passionately explains his theories about time travel to anyone who will listen. Michael, despite himself, can't help but crack a smile. The absurdity of the situation is too much to handle, and he finds himself laughing at the sheer unpredictability of it all. This is the Los Santos he knows and loves, unpredictable and utterly bonkers. As the train continues its journey, Michael realizes that sometimes, the best way to clear your head is to embrace the chaos and let the wild ride take you wherever it may lead. Section 5. The Music Biz Nightmare. Why Michael Won't Lay Down a Track. Back in his mansion, Michael gets a call from his agent, who's pushing him to record an album. Apparently, washed-up criminal-turned-family man is the new hot thing in the music industry. But Michael wants none of it. He's seen the contracts more loopholes than a Swiss cheese factory. They want my life story, my soul, and the rights to my firstborn. Michael gripes to Franklin later that day, and they call that a good deal? Franklin, ever the voice of reason, just shrugs. Sounds about right for the music biz, Mr. D. Section 6. Franklin's 2 cents, a voice of reason in the madness. Now Franklin's taking all this chaos in stride. He figures it's just another day in Los Santos. He's using the empty streets to perfect his driving skills, picking up some extra cash on the side and generally keeping a low profile. People are crazy, Mr. D, he tells Michael. They panic over the smallest things. This city's seen worse. Remember that time with the aliens and the jetpack joyrides? Michael just groans. Leave it to Franklin to bring up those memories. Section 7. Trevor's take because explosions solve everything. In the wild, unpredictable world of Grand Theft Auto V, there's one character who thrives on chaos and destruction more than anyone else, Trevor Phillips. As for Trevor, well, he's thrilled about the whole situation. The more chaotic, the better. For him, the current state of affairs is like a playground where he can unleash his wildest impulses without any restraint. Less traffic means more room to cause mayhem, and Trevor takes full advantage of this newfound freedom. He drives recklessly through the empty streets, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. The exodus of half the city has left a lot of unattended property ripe for the taking. Abandoned buildings, deserted homes, and empty businesses are now prime targets for Trevor's unique brand of opportunism. He's currently holed up in his Sandy Shores compound, a place that has become his fortress of solitude. Here, he plots his next moves, surrounded by the tools of his trade, cooking up some business opportunities that involve a lot of explosives and very little common sense. Trevor's workshop is a chaotic mess of wires, detonators, and makeshift bombs, each one more dangerous than the last. "It's a free-for-all, Michael!" he yells over the phone, his voice filled with manic glee. The sound of explosions echoing in the background only adds to the sense of impending doom. The sound of explosions echoing in the background. Survival of the fittest. Trevor's philosophy is simple. In a world gone mad, the only way to survive is to be the craziest one out there. Or, survival of whoever's got the biggest boom. For Trevor, bigger is always better, especially when it comes to explosions. The more spectacular the blast, the happier he is. Michael hangs up, shaking his head. Some things never change. Despite the chaos, despite the destruction, Trevor remains the same unpredictable force of nature he's always been. And in a world where explosions solve everything, that's just the way he likes it. Section 8, the shrinking city, Los Santos new normal. So, is Los Santos down for the count? Has the City of Angels become the city of ghost towns? Well, this is GTA we're talking about, folks. Chaos is in its DNA. Life finds a way, even in the midst of economic turmoil and mass exodus. The city might be a little quieter, a little emptier, but it's far from dead. It's just different. Section 9, Michael's midlife crisis. More money, more problems. Meanwhile, Michael's still wrestling with his own issues. He's got a mountain of cash, a family he barely understands, and a nagging feeling that he's meant for something more than retirement. What's the point of having all this money if there's nobody to share it with? He wonders aloud one evening. His wife, Amanda, rolls her eyes. You could always try therapy again, honey. Section 10. Finding humor in the chaos, a GTA kind of life. But hey, that's life in Los Santos for you. It's a wild, unpredictable roller coaster ride full of crazy characters, absurd situations, and enough explosions to make Michael Bay blush. And through it all there's humor, dark, twisted, quintessentially GTA humor. It's the kind of humor that makes you laugh even as you shake your head in disbelief. Section 11, the moral of the story, don't overthink it, have a laugh. So, what's the moral of the story? Honestly, who knows? Maybe it's that even in the face of economic meltdown and societal collapse, there's always room for a good laugh. Or maybe it's that Los Santos is like a cockroach. It can survive anything. Either way, buckle up folks, it's gonna be a wild ride.